Tanzania's Copper Belt province brings to you The Lens, a program designed to bring insightful information on economics, mining, education, health, tourism, agriculture, environmental issues, sports, entertainment, current affairs, and many issues affecting the well-being of society. Welcome to The Lens, your program coming from Zani's Copper Belt Studios, and I'm your host, Tovini Ngombe. On today's program, we are looking at the Tazama pipeline and how important it is to the Zambian economy. And on today's program, I have with me in the studio the Managing Director for Tazama Pipeline, Mr. Davison Tawete. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ngombe, and we are delighted to be here and to be able to share with you and the viewers what Tazama Pipelines is all about.
All right. How is it now? How is Tazama?
Mr. Ngombe, Tazama is very fine. We are doing well. We are pumping and we are working.
All right. To begin with, when was Tazama established and who owns it?
Well, Mr. Ngombe, Tazama was conceived as an idea in the year 1966. I think you remember that there was a declaration of UDI in southern Rhodesia, and the route for Zambia's import of petroleum products from the south was basically cut off. So it was in 1966 that the concept of putting up a pipeline to the north through Tanzania was conceived by the two leaders of the two countries of Tanzania and Zambia. And that is the genesis of Tazama Pipeline. So it is a joint venture that is, or rather a bilateral venture that is owned by Tanzania and Zambia.
All right. Maybe you can highlight also the objective why the pipeline or why the company was established.
Yes, as I've indicated, the route of petroleum products then was from the south, but with the UDI, we couldn't, as a country, bring fuel in through the southern route. So the route that became open was the northern route, and I think most of the people my age or earlier than me will remember that there was something called the Zamtan, which was a company that was hauling fuel from Dar es Salaam to Zambia, and through the Great North Road, and which later was infamously known as the Hell Run. There was a lot of difficulties importing fuel by road through the Hell Run, as trucks would get stuck, accidents and so on. So the two leaders decided to put up a pipeline between the two countries, and the primary objective was to ensure that the people of Zambia did not endure high fuel prices as a result of the declaration of the UDI.
All right. And how did this move benefit both countries?
So, of course, the primary objective was to supply fuel to Zambia. Zambia had the mines running at that point, and the mines always need a lot of fuel to carry out their operations, and the transport sector. So with the construction of the pipeline, this was seen as a major benefit to the supply of fuel to the mines. Of course, our colleagues in Tanzania benefited by having jobs created for people that worked in the pipeline.
All right. You said that it's a joint venture between the Zambian government and also Tanzania. And how does also Tanzania benefit? It's like this pipeline is just coming all the way to Zambia, or there are some bypasses that goes also to the Tanzanian citizens there?
Currently, there are no off-take points on the pipeline from Dar es Salaam to Ndola. But as I've said, most of the employees in Tanzania are Tanzanian nationals, and they benefit by having jobs in the pipeline.
All right. Okay. And why was the pipeline converted from its initial design of transporting commingled feedstock to now transporting finished product? Why was the change from its from that initial design?
Yeah. So at inception, the pipeline was transporting finished products. So the pipeline was transporting diesel, petrol, jet A1, and kerosene. And that configuration lasted until 1973, when Zambia put up the refinery, the Indeni refinery. So in the planning, the Indeni refinery had been part and parcel of the planning that there will be a refinery. And it was perceived that the refinery would produce additional products such as the HFO, LPG, and so on. And with focusing on the commingled feedstock as based on crude, the price of the products would be lower. So that was the notion. But then later on, as we came into the 21st century, the price of diesel and the price of crude oil and feedstock became more or less the same. And it became uneconomical to be able to bring in crude oil or commingled feedstock and then reprocess it and produce diesel and the other products. So the decision to convert now from commingled feedstock to finished product was purely an economic decision. Thank you.
All right. And you are saying from the initial, actually, it's not, from the initial it was carrying just finished products.
Yes.
And later it was changed to commingled.
Yes.
And again, we have gone back to
yes, we have.
the same initial decision.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. And how is this decision impacting on your operation as a country, as a company?
Yeah, so for Tazama, as I've said, the initial design was to carry finished products. So going back to finished products is basically going back to the initial design of the pipeline. And the pipeline has been, since the conversion, the pipeline has been working very, very well without any interruptions and with reduced maintenance costs. With the commingled feedstocks, we had a challenge of high maintenance costs. But since we converted, our maintenance costs have gone down.
Meaning that means also maybe high turnover, especially when the diesel was sold?
Yes, although we do not own the product in the pipeline, but we've been able to throughput more than we would have been doing under the commingled feedstock regime.
All right. And also, what's the benefit of the fuel that is transported to the country's economy, and how are you contributing to the country's economy by owning the pipeline?
Well, first and foremost, I think maybe let me just elaborate a bit on the benefits of conversion to
Yes.
to the finished product mode. In the finished product mode, we converted the pipeline in 2023 to go back to finished product mode. And in that year, When the conversion was done by March 17th of 2023, we started pumping diesel. And for the 2023 year, we were able to throughput almost 560,000 metric tons of diesel. Now, this was equivalent to the years, what we were doing for the full 12 months under commingled feedstock. And in that same year that we did the conversion, Tazama made a profit from negative profit position. We were able to make a profit, and we declared a dividend to the two shareholders of 138 million kwacha, just in the first year and in the 9 months of operation. And in the 2024 financial year, we were able to throughput 747,000 metric tons of diesel. And this was above the projections that we had made in the budget of 730. So we were almost 102% above in terms of performance. So the pipeline has really seen a tremendous improvement by converting back to finished product. And consequently, it means that the component of the diesel that is coming by pipeline, which is a cheaper transportation mode, has increased, unlike when we were predominantly now using trucks during the years of 2018, 2019, 2020. So quite a lot of diesel is now coming by pipeline. Yes.
All right, and maybe to my other area question, how beneficial is this to the Zambian economy, especially pipeline?
Yes, thank you, and that's what I was driving to, because now the diesel is coming by a cheaper transportation method, so the country is benefiting by having diesel transported cheaper than by trucks. An example of the pipeline is much less costly than road transport. So there is a benefit that accrues to the Zambian people, and this has been seen by the steady decline in the cost of diesel cost. Of course, I think there are some people who think that diesel is very expensive or fuel is very expensive, but if you compare the earlier years, all the way up to 2021, the price of diesel was always higher than the price of petrol. Right now, the price of diesel is lower than the price of petrol. That is indicative of the impact of the pipeline on the fuel pricing system.
All right, and when it comes to the energy, how important is it to the energy security of this country?
The pipeline is very, very important. In fact, Mr. Ngombe, the pipeline is the lifeblood of the Zambian economy, or the life stream of the Zambian economy, because the pipeline alone right now is able to deliver almost 3.6 million liters per day to the industry, to the mines and the Zambian economy. Whereas, if you are trying to transport the same amount of fuel by road, it's almost impossible to reach those levels. So for energy stability, the pipeline is very critical. Yes.
All right. And how is it also helping to support the industries, especially in the economy?
So with the pipeline delivering fuel at reduced price in terms of transportation, the industry is able to plan on their work schedules, work performance, and so on. They can rely on the availability of fuel because the pipeline is working.
All right. Well, viewers, if you are joining us, this is your program, The Lens, coming from Copperbelt Zani Studios, and we are discussing about the Tazama pipeline, how important it is to the Zambia's economy, and its contribution to the success of the running of the industries. And with me in the studio, I have Mr. Debson Tawete, who is the Managing Director for Tazama Pipeline. And we go on again. Let's look at the liberalization and the open access to this pipeline. What does this mean?
So, Mr. Ngombe, what happened was that once the pipeline was converted in 2023, it was the Zambian government and Tazama that started the issue of opening up the pipeline to users. Because we realized that government had gone out of participating in the procurement of fuel. And government wanted to encourage oil marketing companies to bring in the fuel. So the question was, how do we queue the many oil marketing companies that were interested in bringing the fuel through the pipeline? And that is when the concept of open access to the pipeline was born. So it was an initiative of the Zambian government with Tazama Pipeline to say, how do we queue this system? How do we queue the OMCs that are coming to want to use the pipeline? And we developed guidelines that would then regulate how the queuing of the OMCs would be managed.
All right. A lot of people have described the year 2024 as the toughest year in the history of this country as a result of the many challenges like drought and the load management and others. How was this to you as a company?
Thank you, Mr. Ngombe. And interestingly, for Tazama, it is different because 2024 is on record as the best year for the pipeline, because the 747,000 metric tons of diesel that we pushed through the pipeline is the highest that that in the history of the company. Sorry. So for us, it was a good year as a company. We pushed through record throughputs through the pipeline.
All right. And also, when we look at the conversion of the pipeline, how is the impact on your company and also the nation at large? And also, who carried out the reconversion of the pipeline and at what cost?
Thank you very much. I think let me start with the second part of that question. The conversion of the pipeline was a brainchild of Tazama Pipeline itself, that we realized that to meet the objectives of the New Dawn government's policy of fuel liberalization or economic liberalization and the economic improvement of efficiency, we needed to be a player in that energy initiative. So we thought and planned out the conversion of the pipeline from commingled feedstock to carrying finished petroleum products. And with the help of government and with the support, we were able to convert the pipeline as Tazama ourselves, using Tazama employees, Tazama equipment. We did that ourselves. There's been stories that some companies are the ones that cleaned the pipeline. We cleaned the pipeline ourselves. We bought, through the help of the Zambian government, we bought kerosene and diesel that we were able to use in the cleaning process. And we did that in record time of barely 33 days. And we were able to complete the cleaning as Tazama employees, Tazama engineers. So this was an initiative carried out by Tazama with the support of the Zambian government. The total cost of cleaning, the actual physical cleaning, was only barely $500,000. So as opposed to, I think, what people had anticipated, that the cleaning was going to be $8 million, $13 million, we did that for $500,000 as Tazama employees. The cost of the diesel and the cost of the diesel and the kerosene was $141 million, but that was also recovered through the displacement of the crude oil that was in the pipeline and the sale of the products that were resultant from there.
All right. Maybe what are some of the lessons you have picked up from the just ended year 2024?
So,
as we are now in 2025, what will be the bigger picture from the lessons you have learned now?
Okay, so in 2024, we were able, like I said, we were able to increase our throughput. So we think that Tazama pipeline still has a lot of life to be able to and a lot of importance to play on the Zambian market. So we are improving the pipeline. The first thing that we have done towards the end of 2024, we introduced what was called the drug reducing agent, DRA. The drug reducing agent reduces the friction in the pipeline. So we are able to pump more than we would normally do. And that is what is going to define our operations for 2025. So we have implemented the DRA, and there's been a 30% increase in our throughput. We were pumping at about 120 cubic meters per hour. We are now pumping around 50 cubic meters per hour. So it is a tremendous improvement, and it's going to increase the amount of diesel that we put on the Zambian market. Remember that the pipeline alone previously was not able to meet the national demand for diesel. The national demand outstripped what the capacity of the pipeline was. With DRA, we are pushing as close as we can to meeting the national demand. So we want to be in a position where whatever the demand for diesel is, we are able to match that. Of course, the national demand is quite high, but we are pushing to see if we can meet that national demand.
All right. And also, as you have said, from the government policy, especially in the mining sector, they want to be producing, I think, 3 million metric tons of copper, I think, by the year 2030. And that means more mines operating at the highest level than ever before. And how is the company also strategizing itself to ensure that the fuel demand for this mining sector is ever satisfied?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ngombe. I think that's a very, very important point, because it looks forward to where we are going. And we have taken note of the government's aspiration that the mines should produce about 3 million tons of copper per annum. So Tazama, with the Ministry of Energy, came up with the concept of laying a new pipeline. So we are planning to lay a new pipeline from Dar es Salaam up to Dola, that will have higher capacity than the current one. We want to be able to deliver to Zambia at least 4 million metric tons of fuel on the Zambian market through the new pipeline. So this is aimed at meeting that target and supporting the government's vision of 3 million metric tons of copper per annum. So we will be ready by 2030 that the new pipeline would have been completed. So far, the feasibility study has been done, and we understand what needs to be done. What is remaining is that we should now go to the market and begin to look for a developer of this new pipeline. But that is still going, there's a discussion still going on between the two governments on the modalities of how we are going to develop this pipeline.
All right. How about also, you have talked of the diesel in petrol. Is there any indication that also one time in future it should start also coming through the pipeline, or to just as usual the country continue getting petrol through road?
Yes, the petrol will be coming by pipeline. It's part of that, the design of the new pipeline. We want to bring in diesel and petrol through the new pipeline because these are the two biggest commodities that are consumed in terms of petroleum products. So the petrol and the diesel will be coming through the new pipeline.
All right, that's a very good that's a good development.
Yes.
And also, all things being equal, the Zambia's economy this year in 2025 and going forward is projected to increase, especially by, I think, by 6.6% of the GDP by the end of, that's the projections. And with this and special economic activities, especially in the mining sector, do you think the company will be equal to the task to meet this likely increase in the demand for petroleum products?
Sangombe, thank you very much. We have positioned our company this year. Our target is to deliver 900,000 metric tons of diesel. So we have increased from what we did in 2024. Our target is to go higher. We are hoping that we can meet that target. So far, the indications are that we are on course. The first quarter ended just a few weeks ago. We are on course in our delivery schedule. So by the end of the year, we think we should have hit 900,000 metric tons of diesel delivered to Zambia, which will support the economic activity of the country. And as the economy grows, we know that there is higher demand for fuel.
All right. Well, viewers, if you are joining us, this is your program, The Lens. We are discussing about the Tazama pipeline and how important it is to the Zambian economy. And in the studio with me, I have the managing director for Tazama Pipeline, Mr. Davison Tawete. And discussed quite a lot, and now we will be actually about to conclude. Going forward, what should the Zambian public expect from your company?
So we have a mandate to deliver fuel through the pipeline. We intend to fulfill that mandate. And remember that the transportation by pipeline is cheaper, is the cheapest method than any other means of transport. You can't compare it to road, rail, or air. So we will be here for the next many years transporting fuel through the old and the new pipeline to the Zambian people, and at a transportation rate that is cheaper than any other method that can be used. We think that we have a very important role to play in the national development and the economies of the two countries, Tanzania and Zambia, and we intend to play that role. I should mention that the new pipeline has now included the concept that Tanzania will also be using the pipeline to tee off and supply fuel in the southern parts of Tanzania. So the two countries are going to benefit from the new pipeline. This is a mandate that we want to fulfill. This is a mandate that we are going to fulfill. And we remain prepared and committed to this mandate. Thank you very much.
All right. Maybe also with all the plans that have been put in place to ensure that there's state supply of fuel in the country, any measures being taken to ensure that the country should not actually run out of fuel or should not have shortages of fuel in future?
Mr. Ngombe, fuel is a commodity on high demand. When you have to get onto a bus to go home or to go to another city, you have to get onto a bus and you have to use fuel. So energy security is very, very paramount. I think you've noticed several times when there's been outages in filling stations, the cry is quite high. So it is important that Tazama is ready to participate in the energy security of the country. The government has already set up fuel depots, 7 fuel depots in provincial headquarters. Mansa, Mpika, Solwezi, Mongu, Chipata, Lusaka, Ndola. You know, all these depots are strategic fuel reserve locations. And with those depots holding fuel, we should be able to be fuel or energy secure anytime. Thank you.
All right. Maybe as we end the program, your last words to the viewers about Tazama Pipeline.
Well, thank you very much. Tazama, Mr. Ngombe, Tazama Pipeline is your company. It is a government-owned company. And please support the efforts of the company. Do not vandalize the pipeline. We depend on you to help us protect the pipeline. And we are working with a lot of citizens along the pipeline who are helping us to protect the pipeline. And it is imperative that all of us secure this very strategic asset for the country because it will do us good in the long run. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well, viewers, we have come to the end of our program, and I was your host, Tovini Ngombe. With me in the studio, I had Mr. Davison Tawete, who is the Managing Director for Tazama Pipeline, and we have been looking at the importance of Tazama Pipeline to the Zambia's economy and how it drives the industries and all the developments that we are seeing in the economy. And this has been in your program, The Lens, and on behalf of my technical team, we are saying goodbye. See you next time on the next program. Bye-bye.